Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Swarm Episode 1. I am your host, Bodie, Tenacity Gaming. Today, we're going to talk about the Toronto Ultra Minor 1 tournament that's coming up. Slated to kick off on Friday, starting at 3 with the LAG Gentlemates versus the Minnesota Rocker. But before we get into that, kind of want to talk about like this tournament in general before I get into the matchups. Is that these games do not count towards the seeding for the major, but what they do is if you finish in the top 3, which third place is a tie, you are awarded CDL points, which mean something to the overall standings at the end, because what if you needed that 10 points you get for a third place tie to be the 8th seed going into champs. So first place will receive 30 CDL points, second place 20 CDL points, third place 10 CDL points. Also fourth place because third place tie. So right now, as the rankings stand, which kind of led to the seeding for this tournament, have Carolina number 1, 4-0. Thieves number 2, 4-0. Toronto also 4-0 as the number 3 seed. You have a pair of 3-1 teams, Boston being the 4 seed, Optic being the 5 seed. Minnesota is sitting at 2-2 as the number 6 seed. Then you have 4 teams with 1-3 records, starting with the Heretics at 7, Surge at 8, C9 at 9, FaZe, that is the shocker, at 10. You also have Gentlemates at 11, 0-4. And the Falcons, of course, 0-4. I mean, they got a lot to figure out, for sure. Also, very disappointed in the 10th and the 11th seed right now, FaZe and Gentlemates. You do have talent on the roster, obviously. FaZe has been around a little longer as a team, so it's kind of running to that point where they have to perform. And they happen to have had the strongest schedule probably by far in this tournament so far. They have played Falcons, which is the last seed. So if you look outside of that, Ravens as a 1 seed, Thieves as a 2 seed, and Ultra as a 3 seed. So, I mean, 3 of the top 3 teams have been on FaZe's schedule so far. So, sugarcoat it, but they did get 3-0'd by Ravens, 3-1 by Ultra, 3-2 by Thieves. Honestly, probably had a shot in the Thieves series, as it was playing out. I can go into a little topic of strength of schedule thus far based off of the current standings and the current matches that have happened. And obviously this does not elaborate to the actual rankings as I'm giving it to you, but just based off of the strength of the schedule. Right now I have FaZe at number 1, Cloud9 at 2, Gentlemates at 3, and Surge at 4. Alright, Surge has played Boston, which is a number 4 seed, Optic, that's been a number 5 seed, Miami is a 7 seed, and Toronto is a 3 seed. So that's why they're up there. That's why their schedule is, based off my opinion, strength of schedule, I have them at 4. Then I'll go down, Breach at 5, Falcons at 6. Falcons has played FaZe. They've played Ultra, they've played Miami, and they played the Ravens. They've played 2 top 3 teams. They've only won 2 maps out of the whole deal, so one of them being against FaZe and the other being against Ravens. Um, I have Miami at 7, Optic at 8, Rocker at 9, Ultra at 10, Thieves at 11, and the Ravens, I have their strength of schedule at 12. And which makes a lot of sense. The Ravens have played the bottom 4 teams. They have played Cloud9, that's the 9 seed, FaZe, that's a 10 seed, Gentlemates is an 11 seed, and Falcons is a 12 seed. So that's where I would go based off, the standings so far when it comes to the strength of schedule currently. And like I said, all that's based off of standings and whatnot. My power rankings. This is where you might call me a little crazy, but this is what I honestly believe. Like right now, if you looked at how the schedule has been set so far through 4 games, how teams have performed in those 4 games, I honestly believe this right here is pretty legit power ranking. Number 1, I have Ultra 4-0. Obviously, there's 2 other 4-0 teams, but Ultra so far, they have played Miami as a 7 seed, Falcons is a 12, Surge is an 8, FaZe is a 10. So they've kind of been not playing the top competitions, but I don't know. I feel like they're a complete team. They don't have a lot of outside noise. They're well rounded. They have good comms, and they're just by far right now. I'd rank them at number 1. Right behind them, I have Thieves as number 2. All right, now Thieves, they played Rocker, Gentlemates, FaZe, and Cloud9. So they've still kind of been there too. They've played 3 of the bottom 4 teams. They also got that one against Rocker that's, right there in the middle of the pack. Obviously, Rocker's strength of schedule is not real high, but Thieves has talent. They got guys that can put up a lot of kills. They're very quick and got a good understanding of the game. Now, probably the only thing that really stood out to me in theirs is that they have yet to 3-0 somebody. They've had a 3-1, 3-1, 3-2 against FaZe, 3-1. So, I mean, that's just kind of been their thing. Number 3, I have Boston. Why is Boston ahead of Ravens? Ravens is 4-0, Boston's 3-1. Well, Boston has the 5th toughest schedule in my opinion. Boston has played Surge, they played Heretics, they played Rocker, and they played Optic. Based off of standings, they could probably even be in top 2 based off of how everyone else strength of schedule is. Call me crazy, but I really like what Boston has. I mean, with Cammy, Awakening, Purge, and Snoopy, they're sound. They're sound, and I think they're gonna make a lot of noise this year. But I do like them at number 3. Number 4, I will put the Ravens there, and their ranking could be higher depending on how the minor goes for me, but right now they played the bottom 4 teams, FaZe being one of them, which nobody expected. I don't even really think people fully expected Cloud9 to be bottom 4, probably more middle, but there they are. I mean, FaZe looks awful, and that's hard for me to say because I am a FaZe fan. So I want to see them succeed, but right now they have a lot of issues, and I'll talk a little more about them in a minute. Number 5, I have Optic. I mean, even with the roster change, with Pred not being there no more, I think Hooks came in, and he's good. Like I've heard through a lot of people talking and whatnot. Hook's probably one of the best players in this game right now, and I think he'll have his opportunities. I know sometimes he will fall off, but Hook will be consistent for Optic. I do like them at number 5 in my rankings right now, but I do think they're going to be a top 4 team by the end of this major for sure. Rocker, I have them at number 6 at 2-2. I like Gio. I like how he's playing. Want to see a little more probably out of Esriel and Paul X going forward, but I think Nero too, a little more consistency, and they'll be all right. But I have them at 6 right now. Really, you can go down the list 7 through 10 now, and probably move one higher, one lower. Have Miami at 7, Surge at 8, FaZe at 9, Cloud9 at 10. All right, FaZe, got to give them a little bit of a benefit of the doubt. They have the strongest strength of schedule so far. They're 1-3. Their only win came from a team outside of the top 3 against Falcons. They even dropped a map in that. I know Cloud9 ended up. I know Cloud9 beat. Excuse me. They had their win against Rocker 3-1. They've lost the Ravens 3-2. Been a little more competitive first, kind of the top 6 to say. I mean, even though they got 3-0 by Optic, I like FaZe at 9 for now. Obviously, I'd probably drop them down to 10 if they lose to Miami Friday. But that's kind of that. Gentlemates 11, Falcons at 12. Obviously, it's very, very, very early. I think Ravens is probably a lot better than I'm giving them credit for. I mean, they're 4-0, but their wins did come against the bottom 4. So I'd like to see them, kind of going forward and see how they do against, some of the top teams in the league, which you assumed FaZe would have been there, but FaZe isn't there yet. Now going into the minor bracket, going into the minor bracket, you got Friday, you got LAG Gentlemates versus Minnesota Rocker. Give you my predictions as I'm going through the schedule. I'll see Minnesota taking this one 3-1, and they'll go on Saturday to play Ultra. FaZe and Heretics at 4:30. I have FaZe taking that one 3-1. No, Miami's been in some close games this year, but I do see FaZe kind of jumping to that next step. That does not mean they're going to go far in this minor, but I do see them taking down Heretics. I love the matchup. Following that, you got Falcons and Texas. Optics 3-0 and Falcons. I don't see it any other way. So 3-0 Optic. Optic will move down and play Boston Breach. FaZe will play Thieves based off of my prediction. In the last game on Friday, we're going to have Cloud9 taking on Surge. Cloud9 may be towards the bottom of the rankings in the standings right now, but I do think they make this matchup close. They're going to push Surge the distance in Game 5, so that's going to be your only Game 5 of the first day of the minor. I like Surge 3-2. I like them. Again, it's online. Cloud9's got their issues, so I'm going to take Surge in this one 3-2. Surge will fall down and take on the Ravens Saturday. As we move on to Saturday, my prediction for the Minnesota game versus Toronto, I have Toronto 3-2. I think Rocker keep it competitive. They force a Game 5. But I like Ultra in this one 3-2. Breach has had a great run. They got to take on Optic Saturday. They got to take on Optic. They're pretty much already planning to play Optic as is. I think even with the more VODs they're gonna watch on Optic, I'm gonna take Optic 3-1. All right, 3-1 Optic. Really, I think Breach probably take a Surge, but that's it. I know they won 3-2 recently against them, against Optic, but I think Optic will bounce back and come out for some revenge in this game. So yeah, then we'll move on. Surge versus the Ravens on Saturday. I'm going to take Surge 3-2. I'm going to take Surge to win that series 3-2 on Saturday. Obviously, they have to win to get to Saturday, but I think Surge keep it rolling. I really like what they have going for them in Vancouver. The last game for Saturday, I had FaZe winning their first game, so FaZe versus Thieves. I think we go down to the wire in this one again, but I do believe Thieves pull it out once again, and I think it comes down to the Surge. FaZe drop game 2, map 2, and then they end up dropping map 5. They gotta fix Surge issues. They probably lead again in First Bloods, but they cannot follow up. It's going to be kind of the same storyline in this game. FaZe lose 3-2. Breaks my heart, but, it is what it is. I'm not trying to be favoritism towards FaZe right now or be like, yo, FaZe is going to run it. They're not ready yet. They are not ready. I don't know if they got to do something, maybe swap up Simp, Draza, let someone run it. When Draza pulls out of SMG, that's what kills me. When Draza pulls out of SMG, he's slaying. When he's running that AR role, I really feel like he's struggling right now. But maybe that's my opinion. Maybe it's because I'm a FaZe fan, so I'll watch a lot more FaZe. But whenever he pulled out of SMG, I think it was against Vegas. Even though it's Vegas, he was slapping, bro. He was slapping. But I do think that game right there, if FaZe do move on Saturday and play Thieves, I think the Surge kills them once again. As we move into Sunday, I'll start with the more obvious matchup based off of how I've predicted everything so far. You'll have Thieves and Ultra playing. They have not played yet. This will be Scrap's first time facing Ultra. And I think Ultra get the better of him. Even though you could say Scrap's probably on Joe Deceives more, but I think them boys in Toronto want to prove that, hey, we had you last year, Scrap. We won a lot of games because of Scrap. But we're just as talented. And I think Ultra pull it out 3-1. I really do. Scrap's a phenomenal player, no disrespect. No disrespect to any player in the league. And, they're there for a reason. But sometimes some people do got to perform better. Right now, bottom 4 teams, yeah, their players got to perform better. But, as this being a top 3 matchup, I do think Ultra gets the better of Thieves, and I don't even see it going game 5. I think it's decided 3-1. I see Ultra taking both hard points. I even see them taking the Search. I think Thieves, their only win's going to come in Control, honestly. Might make somebody unhappy with this next one, Surge and Optic. I'm going to go 3-2 Surge. You said, I'm big on the Vancouver bandwagon right now. I think that they have a great core of guys. I don't know. It's hard for me to explain, but I really like Surge in this matchup versus Optic. like I said, I know Surge has lost to Optic 3-1. But like I said, I think there's some revenge going on this tournament. So I think some teams that might have lost the first go around to a team they've already played, I think they bounce. They make the adjustments. Is really what I think it comes down to. No, I could be wrong. I do think it's a toss up. I could see Optic 3-2 just as much as I see Surge 3-2. But for a prediction standpoint, I'm gonna go with Surge. And that'll move us on to our final for the minor, Surge versus Ultra. With this being Toronto's major that we're in right now, I know everything's online. I think this might be the Ultra show for this first set of everything. He said, I think they're the most complete team. I think they got a step ahead of everybody, and they play well. Going up to leading up to the major, they'll play well going into Toronto. So, but for this game right here, I have Ultra taking it 3-1. So that's it. Toronto will be your minor one tournament champion. They said if that's the case, you'll see 30 points going to the Ultra, 20 points going to the Surge, and Optic and Thieves taking an additional 10 points. Like I said, these matches don't count towards the major seeding. All they do is give more points to the top 3 teams, which is 4. Third place is a tie. So, yeah, that's that. I mean, I know there's going to be some disagreements with my opinions. Like I said, my power rankings, I had Ultra at 1, Falcons dead last. No surprise with the dead last one. And as far as strength of schedule goes, another quick rundown. Phase 1, Cloud9 2, Gentlemates 3, Surge 4. That's your top 4 for strength of schedule. And, of course, I have Ravens dead last on strength of schedule based off of who they've played. Bottom 4 teams. That's it. Thank y'all for watching this episode of The Swarm. Again, I hope everyone's doing well. I wish I could show y'all more things, but I'm kind of limited with my resources. But I just wanted to give my opinion, my take on this. And hopefully we can grow this even further and go deeper with it. Plus, this is my first time doing this, so if you like it, hit like for me. Appreciate it. Out.